Julius Garibaldi Melchers was born in Detroit, Michigan on August 11, 1860 to Marie Bangator and Julius Melchers. Though he shared the same first name as his father, he would go by Gary for most of his life. His father was a German sculptor, which led to Gary taking an interest in art. In 1877, at age 17, he traveled to Germany to attend the Königliche Kunstakademie Art Academy, where he was subjected to intense academic training and was taught to give attention to details. In 1881, Gary left Germany to continue his schooling at the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris, which translates to the School of Fine Arts. Later that year, he transferred to the Académie Julian to complete his education. Here he studied under French figure painters Gustave Boulanger and Jules Lefebvre. Gary's career began in 1882 when his painting "The Letter" was displayed at an art exhibition in Paris. It was a perfect representation of his training with fine details and mute colors, and was well received by the public. After this, Melchers went on to create many popular works. The 1890s saw his best portrait work, and he received much acclaim for his art during this period. Melchers' style at this time was very naturalist, and he often painted open-air settings and combined vigorous brushwork and brilliant color with an exacting eye for place and personality. At the turn of the century, however, Gary's work changed. He began to paint with loose brushstrokes and bright colors, creating a modified impressionist style. This style allowed him to explore his new interest in the subject of modern women and children portrayed in beautiful interiors and gardens. Melchers' art was most popular in Germany, and in 1909 he accepted an appointment as professor of art at the Grand Ducal Saxony School of Art in Weimar. He remained there until the start of World War I, which shut down the school. It was during this time period that he created Winter, an oil and pastel painting. Gary Melchers died just short of 20 years after painting Winter. He would have no idea the journey his painting would undergo after his passing. The painting itself is showing a young couple on their way to go skiing. It was made in an impressionist style, displaying bold colors and loose brushwork. This gives it a more natural, soft look. The decorative pattern on the woman's shirt is comprised of tighter brushstrokes and is very intricately painted. The background is very impressionistic, with the majority of it being simple shapes and bright colors to form the houses. It was possible that these things prompted Rudolf Moss, a media mogul in Berlin, to purchase the painting in early 1900 at the Great Berlin Art Exhibition. Rudolf Moss was involved in printing and occasionally ran a newspaper that was critical of the Nazi Party and Hitler. He shortly after became a symbol of the hated Jew press. Until 1920, Winter was being held in the Rudolf Moss Foundation, which was Moss's personal art collection. Once he died, however, his descendants were forced to flee Germany and their entire collection fell into Nazi hands. Winter was one such painting that the Nazis took, and not much is known about the provenance during this time, except that it reappeared in auctions throughout the world until it was bought in a New York auction by Bartlett Arkell in 1932. Arkell was the owner of Beechnut Packing Company, and he would later go on to establish an art museum called the Arkell Museum. Winter was kept in this museum for almost 60 years. However, in September 2019, the FBI seized the painting from the Arkell Museum once they learned of the Nazis' unlawful seizure from the Moss family in 1920. The museum said that it, quote, was of course very upset to learn the history of the painting's seizure from the Moss family by the Nazis in 1933, end quote, and willingly forfeited the painting. The painting remains in storage in an office in Albany until it can be returned to the Moss family as restitution. Winter, which has had an incredibly long journey, will finally return to its rightful owners. This is one case where the provenance of a painting has resurfaced, and, when confronted about it, the owners did the right thing. The Arkell Museum acted morally and returned the painting once they were informed of its past. The history of the painting Winter is one of injustice and redemption, and in a way, it shows the duality of the great good and evil humans can cause. Fire.